Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming over tonight. It's beautiful weather outside. My name is Shihoko Ogawa, the program director at Daiwa Anglo-Japanese Foundation. And I saw quite a few of the people already having looking around Toru Ishii's artwork downstairs. And I'm sure you found them really beautiful. But today he's going to give us a talk about his work. And then also right next to him sitting Professor Leslie Miller, our old friend of Daiwa Foundation. She received an MBE 2 years ago, was it? She's the director of the Anglo-Japanese Textile Research Center, so she is the very person who can sort of support Toru by talking about Japanese textile and contemporary art in textile. University for the Creative Arts, she is the director. Right, and Toru Ishii here, he will be talking later on, I think after Leslie, so can I hand it over to you? Thank you.
Here, and I'm really happy. I've had such a lovely conversation with Toru Ishii just now about his work, and I'm sure we can have, a lovely conversation with all of us together. I'm going to give you, well, not a short walk, a short, I don't know, gallop, I think, through some aspects of contemporary Japanese textile. The Daiwa asked me to sort of provide a context for Toru's work, and so that's just what I'm going to do. And the certain aspects, well, if we... is it this one? When we think about contemporary Japanese textiles in this country, quite often we think about constructed textiles rather than the dyed and printed textiles, which we'll be discussing later on. And that is mainly as a result of this building and the Biennale that went on inside it. This is Machiko's work from '92, and was our introduction to contemporary Japanese textile art as we know it now, and the revolutionary effect that they had, taking cloth textiles off the wall and making them into 3D installations. And again, Naomi Kobayashi from a very early Naomi. Again, this was as huge as it looks, and none of us could believe it when we saw it. It had a huge impact on me. And again, Shimada's work. I mean, these are monumental pieces, and they're all what you would call constructed textiles, though many of the artists actually trained as dyers to begin with, rather than weavers. Shimada did. And back again to Agano, which of course is a kind of her work that you all know through the exhibitions that she's worked with me on. And again, that is as big as it looks, and it's knitted. So these are all constructed textiles. But at the same time, with the Lausanne Biennale, there were some textile artists who came from a different tradition and maintained that tradition, but made contemporary work. And here we have Shoko Fukumoto, who is very well known to you all. This is an early piece which was shown at the Lausanne Biennale. And she said when she first went to the Biennale, she did the most contemporary work she could possibly imagine. And then she got to the Biennale and she saw all the three-dimensional textile works that were coming out of Eastern Europe and realised that hers wasn't contemporary at all. And she went away and rethought her whole practice, but it always using the traditional techniques. And this is what is important, and this is what we'll be concentrating on today, the contemporary use of traditional techniques. And there is Shindo. This is a much later installation of his at the Whitworth Art Gallery in Manchester. But the balls of indigo he's been working with for many, many, many years. And this from Through the Surface. Yoshida, now I have to get this absolutely right, so if you just excuse me, so I don't give you false information in my notes. Okay, this is a piece called Surface of the Lake, which Yoshida has installed in many, many different locations all over the world, usually sacred spaces. And the technique he uses, and I've got to get this absolutely right, is kinzai-yuzen, which is applying the gold leaf to the paste. Okay, so that's a very, you would know it probably from the kimono with the gold leaf on it. And that's the technique that Yoshida is using. And you can see here, I hope, it's exquisitely beautiful, and it is real gold leaf. And this is Masabamba, who is a shibori artist. And this particular piece, these are shibori, which you'll recognise, her little mushrooms. And this is a different technique, which is a very ancient and very special technique, which is, and I forgive my pronunciation here, it's the Tsuji Gahana. Yes? Is that right? Yes. The Tsuji Gahana, which is based on floral motif, and it's not much used, but Bamba has reinterpreted it in a very contemporary way. And again, this you will remember, those of you who saw Cloth and Culture, this is again shibori, with actually stones inside it. Okay, but it's absolutely using, you know, the traditional shibori technique of the wrapping and dyeing. And I think it's, I have a quote from Masai when she was doing this, and she says, "My intention was to create something which did not fit any previous category of dyeing," which again, I think, although she's using the technique, you can see how she's moving it into a context which is absolutely 21st century. And this is almost impossible to see. I hope you can see it at the back. This is an absolutely delightful young man, Masaki Tate, and his technique is wax resist. And he comes from a family of kimono maker, and the white lines that you can see are actually pulled threads. Okay. So, I mean, the pin precision of his work is absolutely extraordinary and just exquisitely beautiful. But it's one of those things that really you have to be standing in front of in the real life to get the full impact of it. And this is another one of his, again using the, I think I've got a quote from him somewhere as well. No. Well, it might have been actually. Yes. What Tate says is, "I work using cloth, wax and dye. These materials have their unique qualities. The cloth has a structure. Wax doesn't melt in water, but melts when heated. The dye dissolves in water and colours the textile. I make my works with the intention of bringing out the special qualities of the materials. I try to predict the outcome and then carry out the process. As I am working, I wonder whether or not my prediction will be right." Well, actually, it looks very much like his original drawing, so he's obviously quite good at predicting how it's going to be. And this is Nagao, and this is Katagami stencil. Okay. And it allows for reproduction. He does stencil and screen print together. Okay. And just a small anecdote, he worked out of Okinawa, and when I visited, he came late to my lecture, and he sat at the back and didn't say anything. And then after the lecture, invited me to visit his studio, and we went, and he was holding his hand in a strange way. And so I said, "What is the matter with your hand?" And just before he came to my lecture, when he was cutting the stencil, he missed the stencil and cut straight through his hand. And he'd sat through my whole lecture with this severed hand, basically. I mean, such stoicism I have never come across before. And this is one of my very favourite artists, Jun Mitsuhashi, who is just truly delightful. This is wax resist dye, and you're actually looking at it from above here because it's actually flat. And he has these magical little worlds that he creates going on the surface, little holes, little things that are placed on the surface, all telling very magical stories. All dye, all wax resist dye. It is actually taking these very traditional techniques and making something which is very contemporary. And again, Mitsuhashi. And this is somebody called Ken Kagajo, who again is using a kind of Izomi technique, Yuzen technique. His is Katazomi, okay, which is using the stencil and the Izome brushwork on the stencil. And this is, I'm now going to look at some very young artists, okay, who are just starting out. The ones you've been looking at are very established artists. But here we have Chei Sakai, and this is pleated and shibore pieces that they're quite big. And this is a close-up of a different one. And this is another very young artist, just graduated last year, and she's using the same technique as here. And this is her first exhibition. This is another one of hers. This is this artist I don't know. The name is given to me by an artist who's here this evening. And so it was a great pleasure to find out about. Is it a man or a woman, Chika?
A man.
Thank you.
Izumi Murota.
Thank you.
She uses silk screen print.
Thank you. Did you hear that? Yes, it's screen print. Okay. And this I absolutely love. I'm again quite a young artist, and again this is wax dye, yeah. And here you're getting a sneak preview of my next project, which is on the theme of kawaii. And this is actually the artist posing in her artwork. And then we go back to Agano, and this is very interesting because those of you who saw Cloth and Memory 2 will have seen this piece, but the pattern is taken from ulkimono, using the Itomi Yuzen technique. And what Agano did was photograph the patterns of the kimono and then digitally print them on this mirrored fabric. And not to spend too long on it, but the process is that when the pattern is completed and the dye is completed and it's been steamed, then the cloth is washed to remove all the paste, and the colours, the amazing colours, are then revealed. And Agano remembers this from when she was a child in Kyoto, seeing the kimono cloths being washed in the river. And sadly, of course, the paste was well, it wasn't quite toxic, but it certainly wasn't very good for the river and the drinking water. So this no longer happens, and this was a memory for her of the river and the kimono fabric. And this is Chika Ogi, who is there, who is a professor from Nagoya, and who is at my university as visiting professor for 1 year. And this is her work, and this is screen printed. These cushions, they look a little bit like, what do they call them, those macaroons? Yeah, are they supposed to look like macaroons? Yes. Anyway, that's and they're screen printed with Expantex. So it's bringing, completely, most sort of modern materials together with a very, very traditional Japanese setting. And I cannot do this without talking about Nuno and the great Reiko Sudo, and how she shows us what an amazing material to work with, medium, cloth is, okay? It can be an artwork, or it can be, you know, a scarf, or whatever, you know. That's cloth. It can be whatever you want it to be. It can carry whatever narrative you want it to have. And I was just recently in Paris with her at her exhibition at the Musée Guimet, where she showed the installation of the koi carp. And here you have every kind of technique, every kind, woven, printed, everything, and these huge koi carp which circle their way up into the dome of the museum. Absolutely wonderful. And I mean, there she's actually demonstrating the versatility of cloth yet again, because she's wearing as a jacket the one up there. There it is. So it can be whatever you want it to be. And I look fantastically gormless there as well, with my mouth open, being absolutely enchanted by the whole experience. So that's, as I say, a really gallop through some kinds of contemporary textile practice from Japan. And we've reached our destination, or at least the first destination, which is, of course, our artist work tonight. And I am so happy to hand over to you. And, I mean, be thinking about lots of questions. We've had a lovely conversation, thought of some questions, but I'm sure you will have some too. So I now would like to hand over to you, Toru.
Good evening. I'm Toru. I'm an artist, a visual artist. Thank you for nice talking. And yeah, this is amazing. And thank you for coming tonight. I'm so really happy to meet everyone. Tonight I'm going to talk about my work and about me. And my hair is not serious, so I'm so really serious artist. And I would like to talk about 3 topics. Firstly, about my background. Secondly, exhibition in recent year. Finally, about my work, concept and technique. Background. I graduated from PhD Textile Arts of Tokyo University of the Arts on last March, and I was awarded the Nomura Foundation Prize in the final PhD edition. And I had been studying textile arts at Chelsea College just 6 years ago. It's a long time. And I was born in Shizuoka Prefecture, so Mount Fuji, the highest mountain in Japan. Mount Fuji is there. And this picture from my grandmother's house. When I was a child, I really loved Mount Fuji and rice cracker and green tea. It's like grandfather's favorite. And I was really interested in Japanese culture. It's kimono and sumo and Mount Fuji. So and football. When I was 4 years old, I started to play football until 17 years old. Oh, this is me. So my 2 teammates was EX Japanese national football team, and so I really wanted to become professional football player, but I changed to art when I was 18 years old. So I'm really interested in moment of time. It's like this. So because when I play football, so my viewpoint is like the moment time. This is a Hokusai wood printing. So Hokusai depicted the moment of time like photograph. And hip hop culture. When I was student, I was really into hip hop culture, and I enjoyed to dance the break dance in my university. I have to decide my expression image before journey, because I'm not going to have a mistake. And my technique is Itome using dining, which basically has about 30 processes. And it's kind of a cooking, so I'm like chef. Material is mainly silk, soy milk, and rice cake, seaweed, and aceto dye. So, yes. The cooking start. I make glue of rice cake. Main material is 3 rice powders and water and salt. And you can eat these materials. I always control myself not eating it. I mix these rice powder with until hard. It's for about 2 hours. And I steam it in steam equipment for 6 hours. But it's controlled not eating.
Could I interrupt? Where do you put seaweed in, you said?
Sorry?
You said you put in seaweed.
Seaweed is
How do you
for
do that?
mix dyeing liquid.
It tastes better.
今のじゃなくて、今の私が持ってたのに入ってないんですよね。
入ってないです。これは just
There's no
rice powder.
seaweed here. Not in here.
Where does it go then?
In the dyeing.
Dyeing
process.
liquid.
Not in here.
Later in
This
the
is a glue.
process.
Yeah, well that's what I was asking. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
This is especially interesting process, and this is the most characteristic process. I draw my image with rice cake on silk after trace with special ink. This is a tool. It's like decoration cake. It's a tool. And expression is similar in a manga and decoration cake. It's just Japanese paper and a coating kakishibu. I don't know.
Persimmon extract. Yes. Kakishibu は水をウォータープルーフするために to make it waterproof, they use persimmon extract. So the color is like this. ここ全体に穴が開いてるんですね。There's a tiny hole in there, so it just works like a really thin pencil. で糊を入れて。
It's like decoration cake too. And when I was a child, I often cook decoration cake with mom. And yes. So basically, so dyeing image is tie dye, but I always use this brush. And I need to dye into right click outline for no bleeding. And I cannot have a mistake dining with brush. I would have a mistake, but I never had a mistake in recent time. And this is a middle of process. So you can see it's right click run. So in case of this work, basically turning background is a final process. It's normally opposite process about oil painting. And I cannot see a final image when I tie my image during middle of process. Steam 100 degree for 1 hour for fix direct on silk. And finally wash for removed rice cake. Just so you can see. This is a complete work. I think this, my work is the only washable table in the world. I have a movie, just sorry, in Japanese. This is a trace, especially using yes, after decoration. Soy milk for more bright color, protect white skin.
調整の時
This is a complete process. But work concept. My theme is conservation of contemporary society. And I would like to usually express contemporary phenomena on the tableau with using dining, not working kimono. And the most important process is a steam. I consider steam means just a fix. It's a conservation. So I would like to conserve contemporary society. Think. It's like this. This is Kuniyoshi's work. He depicted just scenery of Edo period. And I also interested in expression of present time. I refer to his paintings from color expression and present time expression. And I'm also interested in artists with traditional technique, improved and affected new idea in present time. Chris Ophi, Rakisha. And this is a past work, convenience store, fast food, vending machine. So about a company groceries on the first floor. So subject topic is a contemporary employee who is a symbol of capitalism in contemporary society. I would like to express a typical situation of company employee at Metropolis. This is my work structure. In case of company employee series, I particularly make 3 times elements onto my work. This is an image, silent fiction movie, just from Terminator, just a skull robot. And the contemporary is a typical situation. It's a businessman going to work situation. This is a gassen, just to summarize war painting in Edo period. So just hybrid of past and present and future. This work means expression on the crossroad. So our and this title is on the platform. This work means company employee routine life for getting money in capitalism. So subject is contemporary information technology after 3 level. This is a structure. So I would like to express the memory after an image of internet news through hybrid of Japanese dining and staining of Western art, which is just Boris Rees, Frank and Sarah, and I suggest a middle area between abstract expression and representation expression into painting art history. This is an image. This is my technique. That means line masking. This is a breathing, and I just tried to do taboo of it means dying as combined and breathing of staining technique. This is a this is a breathing by using by accident, and so I draw a lot of rise line, just masking. So then dye black dyeing. Oh, you can see this work on the first floor. So when people look this work, they firstly image Terora or tsunami, something like that. But this is from internet news in capital city. But this is not negative because this work's resource is from SF movie. It's just fiction. So I would like to express middle of fiction and document, and just information of technology after 3 years. This work's title is a Gun Jump. Also, this work is the same meaning. This work depicts, I think, information technology in present time. That's it. Thank you.